Welcome back. I used to think strategy was just a fancy to-do list. I was so wrong. So let's just reframe how we think about this, right? It's not about working harder than your rivals. It's not about having a longer checklist. It's about choosing the right battlefield, picking the industry, the market, where the conditions for victory are already tipped in your favor before you even start. Look, strategy is the plan, not just the dream. To actually win, a general needs a detailed campaign map, not just a vague destination. And this framework, this is that map. It's the real difference between just showing up to the market and actually setting out to conquer it. So forget the checklist. This is a living, breathing process to make sure you're always on the right track, ready to adapt and overcome. It's a four-step campaign that really separates the winners from, well, everyone else. Victory really comes down to a four-stage campaign. First, you define your objective. What is the mission? Second, you analyze the terrain, you look at your market, your competition, and what you're capable of. Third, you choose your line of attack, your unique way of competing. And finally, you actually do it. You implement. That's the path. Okay, let's dive into this, because this is where the real work begins. Before you deploy a single asset, before you move one piece on the board, you have to understand the competitive landscape. I mean it. This is where wars are won and lost before they even start. And this is the crucial question, isn't it? Some industries, think about the airline industry for decades, are just unwinnable from the get-go. They're death zones of brutal, cutthroat competition where profits just go to die. Your number one job as a strategist is to spot those places. And to do that, you need good intel. And to get that intelligence, we use an incredible framework called Porter's 5 Forces. Just think of it as your essential battlefield intelligence report. It shows you where attacks can come from, and not just from your direct rivals, but from literally every direction. What's so great about this is that it forces you to look beyond the obvious. It maps out threats from new companies trying to storm your territory, from substitute products that could make you totally obsolete, and even the incredible pressure that can come from your own suppliers and customers. A misstep in any one of these areas can sink your whole campaign. All right, so once you've mapped out the terrain and you understand all the forces at play, you've got to decide how you're going to fight. And listen, you can't be everything to everyone. You really have two fundamental choices if you want to dominate. You can win by being the cheapest. That's your cost leadership strategy. Think Walmart, just overwhelming competitors with pure efficiency and scale. Or you can win by being different. That's your differentiation strategy. Think Apple with a unique weapon, its design and ecosystem, that your enemies just can't copy. Here's the trap, though, trying to do both. That gets you stuck right in the middle with no real advantage at all. Remember this, please. A price war is a race to the bottom. It's just a brutal battle of attrition that destroys value for everybody involved. Real victory comes from creating value that people will pay a premium for, not from being the last man standing in a bloody price war. Now, a brilliant strategy is completely useless if you don't have the forces to actually execute it. So now we turn inward. It's time to do a rigorous inspection of our own arsenal. What this means is taking a hard, honest look at what you actually have. We're talking about your tangible assets, like your factories and your cash, your intangible advantages, like their brand's reputation and your patents, and most importantly, the skills and knowledge of your people, your human capital. And this right here is the test that every single one of your assets has to pass. It's not enough just to have resources. They have to be the right kind of resources. And if you can answer yes to all four of these questions, well, you don't just have a weapon anymore. You have a sustained competitive advantage. That's your fortress. Finally, with the battlefield mapped and our forces assessed, we turn to the final piece, execution. This is about how all of your activities, from the front lines all the way to HQ, have to align for that final push to victory. So think of the value chain as your operational plan. It's a map of every single activity, from getting raw materials in the door to providing service after the sale. Every single thing you do to create value for the customer. It makes sure every part of your organization is pulling in the same direction. You have to optimize both your frontline operations, what we call primary activities, and all your background support. A weakness in your supply lines or your technology, your support activities, can cause the entire campaign to collapse, no matter how strong your soldiers are on the front line. So you've seen the map, you have the frameworks. The question is no longer how can I work harder? The question is where can I win? That is the absolute essence of strategy. Now, I don't just work hard, I work where I can win. Subscribe to join the winning team.